Noodlephant by Jacob Kramer, K-Fai Steele. Once there was an elephant who loved noodles. She loved noodles so much that all her friends called her Noodlephant. She loved to scoop noodles in huge slippery slurps and eat them by the trunkload. She had neighbors of all sorts. Some had fur, some were smooth, some could roll and some could fly, and some had deep pockets and were very, very bossy. Those were the kangaroos. The kangaroos were always making new laws. They made laws about who could swim at the beach. Only kangaroos. Who could enjoy the butterfly garden? Only kangaroos. And who could make laws? Only kangaroos. Noodlephant and her friends knew the laws weren't fair, but they didn't want to get thrown in the zoo. So instead of swimming at the beach, they cooled off in the sprinkler. Instead of visiting the butterfly garden, they watched moths dance in lamplight. Instead of making laws, they made food for each other. Noodlephant, in particular, was famous for her pasta parties. She loved to mix whole bags of semolina flour with dozens of eggs, delighting her guests with noodles of all shapes and sizes. For special occasions, she gathered wild mushrooms to make her grandmother's secret sauce. One day, while Noodlephant was shopping for a party, a kangaroo blew his whistle. "You there, elephant! What are you doing with all those eggs and semolina flour?" Said Noodlephant, trying to stay calm. "I was thinking of a fresh batch of fettuccine. Maybe curly cavatappi would be nice. Or I could stretch a tangle of tagliatelle." "Oh, no, you won't," snapped the kangaroo, pulling a law book from his pouch. "Elephants are no longer allowed to eat noodles. It says so right here. Noodles are for kangaroos. Elephants shall only eat sticks and branches." "Maybe you don't know me," says Noodlephant, "but I'm Noodlephant, and I'm all about noodles." "You're an elephant," said the kangaroo. "If we catch you eating noodles, we will lock you in the zoo. Buy some acacia branches and don't even think about noodles." Oh. Nope. Walking home, Noodlephant couldn't help but think about noodles. She thought about their shapes and colors, and all their slurpy sauces. When her friends arrived, Noodlephant had nothing to offer them. She tried pouring tomato sauce on the acacia branches, but they were not slippery. They were not slurpable. The thorns prickled and poked inside their bellies. As Noodlephant gazed at her tender belly button, its shape reminded her of something. A tortellino. All at once, she had an idea. A fantastic idea. A revolutionary idea. For a completely new kind of machine. Together, Noodlephant and her friends tapped and tinkered, singing as they worked. Those kangaroos are kangarooed, making rules about our food, telling us how we should think, what we can eat and what to drink. When our new machine is done, we'll all eat pasta by the ton, 'cause noodles are for me and yous, not just those bossy kangaroos. They called the machine the Fantastic Noodler. It was very complicated, but also very simple. With a few turns of the crank, it could turn anything into noodles. Noodlephant tossed in some pens. She turned the crank, and out tumbled a pile of overcooked penne. Too soggy. She knocked a dent into the side, and the next batch was perfectly al dente. They looked around the house and found some more stuff to transform, cranking cans into cannelloni, pillows into ravioli, and radiators into radiatori. The noodles were slippery, slurpy, and scrumptious. It was a grand pasta party. The best one yet. That is, until... Come out with your trunk up. The kangaroos tried Noodlephant in a kangaroo court. They said she had broken the laws. Noodlephant said the laws were already broken. She declared, the laws for elephants and shrews, tortoises, fruit bats, and gnus should be the same as those we use for all you wealthy kangaroos. Guilty, said the judge. When she was being led away, Noodlephant shouted, justice is for all of us, not just for the bossiest. And though right now it sounds absurd, one day you'll eat your words. Each day, a zookeeper brought Noodlephant a pile of thorny acacia branches, and each day she refused to eat them. She was on strike. Weeks passed, and Noodlephant got thinner and thinner. When her friends visited, they worried about her health, and they urged her to eat, but she was resolute. The kangaroo laws aren't fair, and everyone knows it. I'll starve before I eat a single thorn. Her friends called the kangaroos and wrote them letters. They protested outside the courthouse, and some kangaroos agreed the laws were wrong, but most didn't care. And so Noodlephant remained alone, stuck in the zoo. Her friends agreed they had to do something. One lonesome day, Noodlephant received a letter. Dear Noodlephant, we know you don't like acacia branches, but we wish you would try them tonight. Deep down, you just might find they're fantastic. Love, your friends. That evening, Noodlephant accepted the zookeeper's pile of thorny branches. She dug deep down with her trunk and found the fantastic noodler. For an appetizer, she cranked the letter into a steaming bowl of alphabet soup. Then, Noodlephant clamped the machine to the bars of her cage. Slowly and quietly, she turned the crank. The iron bars collapsed into a pile of warm udon, which she scooped up in slippery slurps. She had never been so happy to see her friends. They decided to throw a pasta party, the like of which had never been seen. Noodlephant's friends spread the word. Everyone was welcome, so as long as they brought something to share. As for Noodlephant, she knew the time had come to make something truly special. She ventured deep into the forest to snuffle out wild mushrooms for her grandmother's secret sauce. And as the sun arose over the courthouse square, the animals began to cook. Smells wafted over the town. Sizzling onions mixed with simmering tomatoes. The tang of raw garlic blended with fresh basil and Parmesan cheese. Soon the guests began to arrive. Each time, each animal brought something different to crank through the fantastic noodler. Together they turned corkscrews into cavatappi, flowers into fiore, and wheels into rotelli. That is, until... What do you think you're doing here? Welcome to our potluck, said Noodlephant. Our guests have all brought something to share. Do you have anything to offer? The kangaroo brandished his law book and began, The law is the law. It says right here, noodles are for kanga. What a thoughtful contribution, said Noodlephant. With a flick of her trunk, she whisked the law book from the kangaroo's paw and cranked it through the machine. Out came a piping hot slice of lasagna, covered with bubbling cheese. She topped it off with mushroom sauce and gave it to the kangaroo. It was the most delicious thing he had ever tasted. The other kangaroos lined up to crank their laws through the fantastic noodler, turning out tray after tray of mushroom lasagna. The town celebrated long into the night, singing together, When the laws are so unjust, misbehavior is a must. Together we will make new rules to share along with fresh noodles. 'Cause noodles are for me's and you's. We won't be locked up in the zoos. We'll slurp them down on avenues, at the beach and in canoes. Yes, noodles are for me's and you's. We'll even share with kangaroos.